Y'all know how it's going down. The Value Podcast, where valuable people attract people of value. By now, you should know I'm Jamel Jackson, your relationship mechanic. I focus on repairing, evaluating, and giving you the tools you need to maintain healthy relationships. This particular season, or I should say, this particular length of my podcast is Jamel. I have questions. Periodically, my guests will come on. They will ask me a few questions centered around relationships, and I answer those questions today. I got my man Rich on here from Richard Pryor Clothing. He is a world changer. He's a phenomenal man. When I met him, man, I love his energy, very warm, welcoming, peace, impact in the community. I told y'all, and when I do try to lay out my guest profile or introduce them, I always jack it up. So therefore, I pass the baton or the mic to them and let them introduce themselves. So let's go, Rich. Tell the people something I don't know about you. I messed up.
I mean, I think you pretty much aced it, man. My name is Rich P. Evelon, hip hop artist slash serial entrepreneur. Just all around good guy, father of three, and yeah, just loving this thing we call life, man.
Awesome, awesome. So, without further ado, you guys, this is the Value Podcast. So I'm ready for these questions. Rich is going to hit me with some questions. I don't know where he's coming from. This is always organic, and I'm just ready, man. To the best of my capabilities, I'm going to answer these questions, man.
Right
So,
on. Um, so the first one I got is, what do you think? What do you think a man is value his value is based upon from women these days?
so what is his value based upon from a woman, like from a
From a
woman's
woman's perspective.
perspective, or
Yeah.
I want to make sure I got clarity on this. Like, you mean, like,
Like,
what
what do
is
you
how?
think?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what like from what you come across, like when dealing with women or just listening and just conversing with women, like what do you think that they base our value upon?
Okay. From engaging with women, even in the marketplace, because we have a setup in the market and engaging and dealing with them and having conversations and collecting data. Women are looking for honesty
Mm,
and loyalty and trust. I know those words are kind of all similar, but that's what they're looking for. That's what they desire. A lot of women, and I know everybody doesn't desire marriage, but a large majority of the women that I'm running into, they do desire to be married. And they feel as if some men, not all men, I want to keep saying this, some men before I have a ton of men trying to come after me, some men, they feel as if some men are just stringing them along and not are afraid of commitment. They want committed men that are ready to sign up for the long haul, even if it's not marriage, because everybody doesn't desire marriage, but they want willing and able men that are ready for the commitment in the long haul and don't feel as if, okay, I got my goodies, now I'm out of here.
right. That's big. That's definitely major. Uh, the reason why I say that because I had an exchange. I would say an exchange with a woman. She kind of well known as far as in the political spheres. Uh, she put a post up about the Kevin Samuels guy or whatever, and basically saying like, you know, that he's talking about high, basically $1 million millionaire men or whatever, and if you aren't a millionaire, then you need to settle basically for your for what you're worth as far as your finances. You need to stick in that realm of women. You need to find women that are in that realm or whatever. And I was just thinking, like, I responded to that by saying, that is the perspective of the modern women these days is you value a man's based off of his finances, and it was just a whole bunch went with that. But that's where that question came from because I like that's what I hear a lot. I hear a lot of, oh, you ain't making this, so you need to, and I don't know. I just don't feel like that has anything to do with, you know, who pulls your heartstrings, you know what I mean? Who like who makes you feel good, who makes you feel valuable and appreciated in life. Like I don't think your pay
Here's the
rate should
thing.
have anything to do with that.
People have this great pay grade. They have all these finances, but their soul is empty.
Mm,
I'm first an evangelist at heart, so I'm dealing a lot with the streets, with the communities, with humanity. So I'm rubbing shoulders and listening and hearing people talk about, especially in our time frame now, in our society now. Let me just make this disclaimer. I want everybody to be wealthy and filthy rich. Let me just make
facts.
that statement right now before I make this next comment.
They already are.
That although people are obtaining all of this wealth and all these riches and all these material objects, people still have empty souls.
Mm,
And we're masking it, whether it's the woman with mascara or the man with the fancy suit and the house
same
or
thing.
the Wraith and the Porsche and the whatever it is, you can't cover up an empty soul. And
Right.
so the value system has become twisted, where now our value system is based on your account and your bank versus the account of your soul.
Exactly.
And when I say soul, I'm talking about your mind, your will, your emotions, what makes up that person as a being. And so if the woman is gauging this man based on his bank account and not his soul account, then she'll end up actually missing on the best person that could have came and transformed her life, or vice versa.
I agree.
And so
I
we got to
agree.
be very, very careful. And sometimes just because it comes out of a popular voice doesn't make it a proper choice. So you got
Mm,
a lot of popular voices that are saying things, but that doesn't mean it's proper. And so we live in
exactly.
a society that if a popular voice says it, then the masses run with it, even if it's running us off a cliff.
Exactly. Blind leading the blind.
So I would encourage any woman and encourage any man that add value to your soul, add value to your first is internal, then external anyway. So a lot of us chase these external things, and really we end
Illusions.
up in relationships because of the external value, and there's no internal value. God is
Hmm.
always working from the inside out. When I'm talking to people, I'm using these analogies because a lot of us, I'm finding, we're working from the outside in. We're looking for a man or we're looking for a woman based on external things. And not saying that we shouldn't look at some of the external attributes or values, but that shouldn't become the determining factor of when I'm going to choose to do life with this person and do long term with this person. No, I gotta, okay, that external thing, that's great. I want this man to have, his finances together or a home or whatever those things that you desire for that person to have. But that's not gonna be the determining factor of if I spend the rest of my life with her. Does she have core values? What's her internal like? Does she have the internal fortitude to face life challenges with me? Because you could have all the money in the world. We see this through the political arena, the entertainment arena. People have tons of money, but when they face
Hmm.
certain challenges in life, there's no internal fortitude to keep them
Hmm.
together. Their
Yeah.
foundation was built on monetary gain.
And materialistics.
Yeah.
The
No.
pandemic showed us that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy, bro. That's heavy. Like that's heavy, man. I ain't expect you to go like that. That's heavy right there.
No, because I'm here's the thing. I'm like I
You
said,
said,
I'm always in touch with, I'm touching humanity, man. And I really can see that we're broken people, you know? We're broken. It's men and women that are broken. And when women I'm engaging with are thinking about a man, a large majority of them that I'm talking to, from the upper class to middle class to whatever class, a lot of them now, when I hear their hearts, they're not talking about, oh, I need a man with a bag, because a lot of them that I'm engaging with from all classes, they've had men
they've
with
had it.
bags, they've had
Yeah,
men
they
with
had it.
Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches and Benzes and whatever car you want to deem as a successful vehicle, even if it's a Honda or Toyota Camry, they've had men with stature and status that
Right.
meet the status quo. But now I'm talking to them and they're empty. And they're saying, man, I just want somebody that's honest. I just want somebody that's committed. I just want somebody that really cares about me, really cares about, see, really they're talking about their internal part. Now they've gotten past the external. And they're like, you know what? I had all of that. I got all of that. I had the fancy dinners and the trips to Miami and stood on the end of the yacht boat, but I'm still empty. I need a man that's going to cater to my soul, and vice versa with the men. A man wants a woman that's going to cater to her soul, cater to his soul. And that's very far and few in the time we live in now, because we're in this painted mirage society where everything is a mirage. Trust me, most of the things you see on social media and on the news is a mirage. It's not even real. I
Yeah,
know this
yeah,
because I know certain people personally
yeah,
that after the filter's off, I keep trying to tell certain, well, people that I engage with, that I know them and I know of them, that listen, you do realize I know you.
I know
After the
you.
filter's off, I know you. And
Yeah,
so and it's not a condemning statement. It's just that I know you and I know what you truly need. And so that's if I answered your
right.
question, I hope I did right there, man.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you basically just let me know that it's still hope. You know what I mean, for humanity.
Yeah, it is.
Because if
And it's still hope for men
it,
out there, man. It's hope for men and women. I believe we just need to really identify our core values. And once again, because that's why I made the disclaimer right out the gate. I want people to gain wealth. I want them to get riches. I want people to have big houses. I'm going to have one. I want people to
yeah,
have nice cars. I think I want us all to enjoy and experience that. But that can't be the determining factor of how I choose my mate or who I choose to do life with.
yeah, like not at the expense of your happiness. You know what I mean? Like
No.
that's the thing. Like we trade all of those things at the expense of our happiness. And then once we get those things thinking that it's gonna substitute, we realize it could never substitute. You know what I'm saying? Those things that you named initially was the loyalty, the honesty, the trust. Those are things that money can't buy. You know what I'm saying? You can't substitute that with money, you know, or a car or a house. You know, that has to be coming from an actual spiritual being, you know what I'm saying, that can reciprocate, and and that's the only way that it'll be sufficient.
Hmm.
Other than that, you'll be lacking. And that's why, in a way, like what you said, like those women have already experienced that. So that's another thing. Like a lot of our women need to see the other side, to see that the grass isn't really green like that. You know what I'm saying? Like not everybody, of course,
Hmm.
but like a lot of times we see those shiny things, and we get over there and realize like it's not what we think it is. You know, it's just a thing. That thing can't hug you. That thing can't hold you. That thing can't tell you that everything is gonna be all right. That thing can't take your garbage out. You know what I'm saying? When it's 6, 7 inches of snow outside. You know, that thing can't do a lot of the things that men can do and provide. So most definitely, I agree.
Yeah, man. What you got for me, man?
My second question, kind of relates to that. Is do you think that a man can have a healthy relationship with a woman that is like constantly on social media, like like showing herself and everything like that? Like you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, I can say this. I believe that that man can, based on this word called agreement. And I
Hmm.
bring this word up a lot when I'm talking
Yeah.
to couples or when I'm talking to individuals. The word agreement is so powerful. If
Hmm.
you guys are in agreement, if that man is in agreement with what that woman is doing in terms of on social media displaying whatever she is displaying, if he's in agreement, then those two can have a healthy relationship, because some people are okay with that. So you have to establish, are you in agreement? Do you agree with it? If you do not agree with it, then you need to sit down and think about, okay, I'm not in agreement. I'm not trying to compromise. I have a standard in my life. Do I want to move on with this person that continually puts out posts or images that I'm not in agreement with? You
Right.
know, and if
Right.
you're not in agreement, that needs to be said, because then if not, then it will lead to frustration. Then it will lead to you becoming manipulative or trying to sneak, and then you're trying to get into the person's phone, and you're like, oh, look at this picture, I can't believe you put this up. But have the conversation and ask questions and inform the person, let them know, you know what, I'm not in agreement with that. And if they're like, well, you got to take it or leave it, then you have to make your decision.
Exactly.
Now, if you're in a committed relationship and you guys come to an agreement that that's not what we're going to be doing in our relationship, and this person continues to move in that type of facet or move in that vein, then you have to make a decision again. Like, okay, you know, we had a conversation about this, we spoke about this. You continue to do this. We talked about it. Then you got to make a decision. Okay, are you going to stay or are you going to leave? You know,
1000. I think my last question would be I had put a post up yesterday. I said
let me say
no
this. Let me say this. Social media, boy, it's dangerous.
facts.
It's a powerful tool. It's not social media in itself that is the be all the end all in terms of like taking you down this negative route, but it plays a big part. You as a user need to have some self control as well. I encourage
Yeah.
everybody to watch that documentary on Netflix, Social Dilemma. A lot of us may have heard about it, but if not, do watch it. And when it comes to relationships, intimate relationships, we have to be very careful because we live in a technology, we live in a world of technology. So things are constantly grabbing our attention. So especially as couples and we're trying to do relationship and technology is involved. So whether it's, you know, whatever social media platform it is that this person is constantly engaging in, you know, one, we got to be using it with maturity. And as a man using it, there's a lot of things grabbing your attention. So, and as a woman using it, there's a lot of things grabbing our attention. So we have to just be very careful of what we're putting out there, what images we choose to display. What are we looking at? Because if we constantly look at something, eventually we're going to build a thirst for it and want that, whatever it is. I'm not saying it's a man looking at a woman or a woman looking at a man. It could be objects, it can be anything. But if it is a man looking at a woman and a woman looking at a man, it's only a matter of time if you constantly keep viewing that and looking at that and looking at that, that you're going to want that. You'll build a thirst for it, even if it's small. If it starts out small, it eventually grow. And so we just got to gauge that, you know, and really be careful. And once again, being in agreement with your partner, like, hey, you know what? We're not, maybe you guys will even go on a fast together from social media. Like, you know what, babe? Let's take like a good 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, a month off of this social media and just plug into each other. Or you as an individual may do it because you may see that it's starting to do something to your relationship.
I think now that's the clean version. I think more what I'm speaking to is the ones that's like showing their skin, showing their body, you know what I mean? But at the same time they in a relationship. So
Well,
yeah, I
think
don't
about it. That
understand
goes
that.
back to an agreement.
Right.
Somebody that they're with is probably in agreement with it. It doesn't make it bad, no, because whoever they have, they're in agreement with it.
Right.
Now, here's the thing: if they don't have anybody, this is for men and women. That becomes part of your resume. So, as a woman, I'm not
Yeah.
saying all women. Let me just say this disclaimer because I don't,
Not all
not
women.
all women, but if you are a woman and you're constantly putting that type of image out there, let me say this: there are women that are models and they do display their bodies in certain manners because it's part of their job. It's their modeling. But even if that's the constant thing of a woman that you're putting yourself out there and that's the image you're displaying, let me just know sometime you'll attract that. That's what you're going to attract certain type of men. And the same thing for a man. If you're constantly putting a certain image out there, it becomes part of your resume, whether you like it or not. And you're going to attract that type of person. And as the woman, you can't get mad if you're always attracting a certain type of man. Case in point, if you're a woman in a club, I'm not knocking anybody who goes to a club because I can hear people now like, he don't want me to go to the club. He's trying to bash my lifestyle. No. If let's say you're constantly in the club and you're standing on the couch and somebody's pouring tequila in your mouth and blowing hookah all in your face. Every time they see you on Instagram, that's what they see. This man that may be like potentially looking for a woman. And that's
Right.
what he sees. That's your resume.
Yeah.
And
Facts.
so if you're only attracting negative men, that's because your resume looks like that. And so then your mentality or your verbiage now becomes ain't no good men out there. I can't find no good men. Well, you might need to check your resume. The same thing with the guy. If you're constantly displaying a certain image, there may be a woman looking for a great man, and you possibly are a great man, but your resume doesn't fit the great man. And sometimes some people can lie on their resume. It could be a false resume, but I mean, then we got to dig deep into that. But once again, if you're trying to look for a great job and you got to, because jobs are checking your profile now,
Yeah.
companies are check your social media. And if they don't hire you, you can't get mad at them. You're not the candidate they were looking for based on the resume you were displaying. They checked out your
Hmm.
social media and they said, you know what? He has great potential. She has great potential, but the resume is not looking right. So we're not sorry. We decided to go with another candidate. The same thing that they're doing in relationships. Guys are looking on. Just guys check social media to see, like, okay, I met her. Let me check her social media. And women are doing it too. I met him. He was great. I met him in person. Man, he was a great guy at the basketball game. He's so dope. Girl, you seen him? He was cute. Let's check his social media. And they see you on there, probably doing whatever you're doing. And here's the thing, you were great in person, but now she's checking your resume. And she's like, you know what? Great guy, but I can't do this. And then you know what the man's disclaimer is when he's sitting with his fellas? Man, ain't no good women out there, man.
Really?
No, no, bro. Check your resume.
Yeah. Yeah. That's more times than not. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
We can't. We get caught up in that, like that broad blanket statements. All women and all men. That's what we going wrong at a lot of times these days. Like all women, all men. Nah, it's just your experience.
Yeah,
Yo women, yo men. But
yeah.
my last question, unless you had some more.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my last question is there such thing as a woman letting a man lead?
Is there a such thing as a woman letting a man lead? I believe
I hear it a lot.
a, you get a lot of what?
No, I say I hear that a lot. I hear women say, you know, I'll let you lead or whatever. I let him lead. I've heard men say, she let me lead. She won't let me lead. Um, I just hear that phrase tossed around, and I just want to hear, you'll take what you think about that.
We live in a society now where the roles have changed. Women women are out working. They're working. Some men are at home. Women are making more money than men. Men are making more money than women. The roles have changed. We're in a different society. It's not like when our grandfathers grew up or our great grandmothers grew up, where the woman was in the house doing what she was doing. And that was deemed or her position per se by the man, like you at home, I'm going to work. The man's out there leading for the family and making things happen. And our society has changed too, where we have we not all women, I want to say that, but there's a lot of women or some women out here where it's like, I don't need no man. I could do this. I'm leading. I'm making it happen. And that's good. I want a woman that's confident and a go-getter. We need that. For those that do believe, I believe God has established a type of order where a man does need to lead. Not that the man is better. We are equal, but somebody needs to be leading. I believe God does speak to both individuals, but the man does lead the family. Now, how that man leads is based on whatever information that man is receiving from his upbringing or from the people that he has in his environment and his circumference and in his ear. I don't think a man should lead from a dictator standpoint because some men do that as well. Like, woman, you better this and get home and make sure my food is ready at this particular time. And I'm the man. I'm leading. You gotta constantly put your voice out there and say I'm leading. I don't. A true leader doesn't have to do that. A true leader that's leading his woman and his family will just lead by example. We don't have to constantly blurt out his mouth that I'm the leader of the family. And I believe if he's a true leader,
I agree. I
a
agree.
woman that's with him will see those leadership qualities and want to be guided by him. Like, you know what? They wouldn't have a problem with being submissive. And that word submissive, don't take it as once again as if you're this servant to this man, but it's identifying that I'm allowing him to guide me. I'm allowing him to lead me, and he has direction and clarity. Now, I don't believe women should be following a person that doesn't have clarity and direction of where they're going, what destination they're going to, because that could be frustrating. Now, if you're a
I
man
was gonna
that
say
is
that.
out there, if you're a man that's out there calling yourself a leader to your family or to your woman, then you should be leading properly. You should be learning from other leaders if you're not leading correctly. And you should be always fine tuning the destination of where you're leading this person to. Because a lot of women, once again, that I'm engaging with, they're saying that oh, he don't know where he's going. I
Hmm.
wouldn't want to be with you either if you don't know where you're
Yeah.
going. That could be frustrating. I'm in a car with you and we're going somewhere, but you don't know where you're going. And I'm supposed to follow you, and you're coming from this dictatorship standpoint, like, just come on, we going. I'll tell you when we get there. No, I need some landmarks. Where we going?
But it's a group. It's a percentage of women out here, I would say, that they won't even get to that part. They won't even get to that point because they've already been conditioned into this whole, like you said earlier, independent woman. I don't need no man for this. I don't need no man for that. They say that because it's been conditioned. So to be cool to say, but to the actual manifestation of it in a real life in real time, they not really saying that. You know what I mean? That's not really what they're really saying. So it's on one end it's like condition, and on another end it's like their real character. You know what I mean? They're real. Who are you for real? For real, they really want a man. They really want one. They really want a relationship. You know what I'm saying? That's why they watch the shows that they watch. You know, but at the end of the day, what's been conditioned over the years is I don't need no man. I got this. Woo, woo. So when you meet a man that's truly solid, healthily a leader in his own realm, in his own right, in his own path, he's leading, you know, comes across a woman like that, and she can see all of she can see his whole trail. She can see the trail, but she'll still be like, I don't need this. I don't, But then to go back and clock in tomorrow, and then when her supervisor tell her to go take the garbage out, she ain't got no lip. She going to take she going to take the garbage out. You see, so that's what I feel like. That needs to be spoken on these days. I feel like
You know
more.
what? There is a level of humility that comes with following as well as leading. There's a level of humility that comes with following as well as
Exactly.
leading. And as a follower, you have to have enough humility, once again, especially if you're following a legitimate leader. If this man is legitimately leading you and caring for you and catering to you and not leading you from a disrespectful standpoint, and he's cautious and he's loving and kind, then there's a level of humility that needs to come upon you to understand, like, you know what, this man is not out to harm me, out to take advantage of me or manipulate me. He's leading me in love. As a leader, there has to be a level of humility for you to lead in love. Because if you're leading in love and understanding and patience, one, that's going to be a key component, that patience, because once again, we're dealing with broken people, man. We're all broken. And if people are willing to identify their brokenness first, then we can work together. Now, once we're willing to
That's
identify it,
humility. That's
yeah,
humility right there.
I'm identified and I'm broken, whether it's the woman or the man, because there's some part of the brokenness in you that may have you like, man, I'm a lead, but I'm a dictate while I lead, or I'm gonna
Mm,
follow, but I'm gonna resist while I follow. So there's a
right.
level of brokenness that you still haven't identified with that keeps this pride rising up in this rebellious attitude to lead from a dictator standpoint and to follow from a rebellious standpoint, and we just keep bumping heads. But when this humility is in place, then there's a beautiful dance where you've been in the circumference of true leaders, whether it's a man following another man or a woman following a man or whatever the case may be. When there's humility mixed in the equation, then it's a smooth ride. It's a smooth walk. I could follow this leader because they're not full of ego. They're not egotistical. They're guiding me with caution, and they're leading me with love. And when that can happen, then the woman can follow. But there has to be a level of humility from the follower, like I said, and a level of humility from the leader. And when that exchange takes place, then it's not us fighting over roles, because there may be a time where the woman's leading in a particular
Yeah.
area. She may
Yeah.
be leading in the financial area, like, hey, babe, I'm going to take care of the finances. I'm going to make sure the books and everything for the home is right. She's leading in that area. It may be with the children. It may be with her. She's working the career, and now the guy's at home taking care of the kids. So she's leading in that particular area, and he's leading at home with the children. So our roles will
Exactly.
be switching, but ultimately we got to come collectively and say, here's the decision we're going to make as leaders together. We're both leaders. So once again, it's not like the roles can be changing. One day you're following, one day she's leading. One day you're leading, one day she's following. But you're both leaders collectively together. And it's not, I'm better than you. And that's a pride mentality.
It's an informed follower. You're informed. You know you. That's the thing. I think what I'm speaking to is that, like I say, a percentage of women out here aren't informed followers. They don't know where their destination is. They don't know where they want to go. You know. So if they when they do come across a man, a leader that has a vision that and he's already shown that based on his path, this is where I'm going. To me, the definition of a leader is a person that's pointing in a direction, pointing to a destination that we can't see yet. And a follower to me is a person that raises their hand and says, I will agree. You got my consent to go with you to that destination that you're pointing me toward. You know what I'm saying? I think as the leader, we can point and say, hey, this is where we're going. But the follower, if that follower doesn't raise their hand and give you the consent to say, hey, I want to go with you, then, that's when you're going to have that where it's like, oh, no, I'm raising my hand, but I'm raising my hand to say, maybe we should go that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're dealing with these days. I got to say, too, it's more about like being right than actually getting to the destination these days. So like you said, to your point, like humility, what I mean? We both have to, and to me, a good leader is able to lead from the front or the back. We don't always have to lead from the front. The goal, the focus should be the destination, period. So once we both have that destination set in our mind and we have that understanding of this is where we're going, then we both become leaders in that
Mm-hmm.
pursuit because we're both leading to that same destination. We're in our own roles, in our own spaces, going to that same destination. And that is, to me, the ultimate leadership. But like I say, these days, it's a percentage of women that really don't even take the time to evaluate where exactly they want their destinations to be. You know what I mean?
And I would even say that it's on both parties because we're in a society now where when you find someone with these qualities of leadership, humility, love, caring, once again, back to that internal fortitude, not suffocated or bombarded by external things, not drowned in the social media world. When we find people with these attributes, they're like rare diamonds.
Facts.
When you find these individuals, whether it's the woman that finds the man like this or the man that finds a woman like this, they're like rare diamonds. Now the thing is, when we do find them, what are we going to do? Because are we going to appreciate them? Or are we going to just say, oh, you know what? Are we gonna use them? It could be a woman using a man or a man using a woman, and then we wake up another day or another week and we say, man, there's no good men out there. There's no good woman out there. No, you had a diamond. You had a diamond, but you didn't appreciate that diamond. Or you may get the diamond, and then what happens is you appreciate it, but then familiarity kicks in, and now it's like, oh, that's just such and such. Oh, that's just such and such. No, you need to constantly be showing appreciation to this rare diamond that you have, man. I call it meeting again. And this may sum up everything right here. I call it meeting again. When you meet a person, I like to meet them as if it's the first time I ever met them. Think about it. When the man meets this woman or the woman meets this man and they find out they have all the attributes, the core values, she's so amazing. He's so amazing. He has the eternal fortitude. He knows how to lead. She knows how to follow. We're both humble. Oh man, we're making money, but that's not our main focus point. We're focused on vision and transforming lives. This is what we're committed to. And they're just happy. They're loving. And so now they appreciate each other and they get into a relationship and they begin to move forward. And time begins to take its course. They're a week in, they're months in, maybe they're years in, maybe they desire marriage, they get married, or they don't desire marriage, they just desire a long-term relationship. They've been together for years, and somewhere along the line, familiarity kicks in. And now it's like, that's just him, that's just her. So the way that I used to appease her and the way that I used to please her, I no longer do it. So when I say meeting again, I mean meeting the person again as if it's the first time. Because when you first met them, there were things that you did. You went over, above, and beyond to do things for this person because you appreciated them at this level. You understood the core values. You understood the fireworks that went off in your heart when you met them. So as the man, I would say meet her again as if it's the first time every day. Some men that are listening to this or watching this, you may not have brought your woman flowers in a long time. Today, go and buy them some flowers. Maybe you may not have cooked her breakfast or took her to lunch, or maybe you can't take her to lunch, but maybe you haven't made her lunch or made her dinner in a long time. And if you can't cook, then find another creative way to cater to her, but do that today. And for a woman, maybe you haven't done X, Y, Z or certain things for your man. Maybe you haven't rubbed his back in a while, but when you first met him, you would rub his back every day. So we need to meet each other again on purpose every day, like it's the first time. Now, is this overnight? No, this is you got to train your mind and your mentality to be this way. Because when you first met her, you probably scrambled the eggs a certain way. You knew just how much salt she wanted in there, just how much pepper. You know she didn't like her onions too big, so you chopped them real fine and real small. And she liked a little bit of the green peppers, a lot of the red peppers, and you made that thing magnificent. That was a beautiful omelet that you made. And then months later or years later, she wants an omelet and you just scramble it up. Here's the omelet. All right, I gotta go. No, meet her again as if it's the first time. Take that time and pause and take that same patience and attitude and appreciation toward this individual. And the same way for the woman to the man. Whatever it was that you were doing or catering to get him and keep him, continue to do that. And it's not easy. It's something you have to, like I said, train our minds to meet again as if it's the first time. It's meeting again, intentional. When you met him, you were holding hands, walking through the mall, blowing kisses at each other, taking pictures. Months later, years later, stop, get the camera out of my face. Come on, I don't want to take no pictures. What? No. And of course, we're evolving, but that meeting again, keeping this person in appreciation. Like, yo, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Even though we're 5 months in, 5 years in, I still appreciate you the same way as if I met you that first month when you were downtown and you had that beautiful dress on or you had that great smile. I appreciate you. It's something we got to train our minds to do every day, every morning. When I wake up in the morning, even today, I'm training myself that when I talk to my girl, I'm going to meet her again as if it's the first time because there's certain things that I did. When I sent the text message, it wasn't just like, hey, what's up? No, you had that long, good morning, how you doing today? I hope you had, keep doing that.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I call that getting rid of routines, man. Like you gotta get rid of the routines because that's over time. That's what creates what you're speaking to. You know what I mean? That's what creates that depreciation, I would say, um, for your spouse, man. So it's always just about just keeping it fresh, keeping it new. You know what I mean? Don't wake up the same time. Don't go to work the same time. Don't come in the same time. Don't make a day like me and my lady. We make a day out the week or something to do make sure that we do something. You know what I'm saying? Like just make it fresh, man, all the time. Like it should never get to a point where we know what we about to do. Like
Mhm.
that's how you know what I mean, keep it fresh, man.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Listen, man, the Value Podcast. I feel with my man Rich, we could probably go on for hours, man. Rich, man, I really appreciate you jumping on here, man.
No
Listen,
problem.
everybody that's watching this, they can see your social media on the video. But for those that are listening, man, tell them how they can get in touch with you. Tell them what you're doing, any projects coming up. Let the people know, man.
Man, like my man say, you can follow me on IG at Rich_P_Everlon. You spell Everlon, spell no love, spell backwards. You can also follow my brand page at Richard_Pryor_clothing. And you spell Richard as you spell right here, Pryor like before. On this side, my bad, on that side. And yeah, so basically what we doing right now is just teaching this mindset, this Richard Pryor concept of believing that we are all rich before we get the money, you know, and after we get the money. We get so caught up in and that, like we were speaking to earlier, the materials and the tangibles, and it's like that validates who we are. Once we get that token, it's like, okay, now I'm somebody. But it's like, well, what were you before that? In the meantime, what were you? So that's what I'm up to, as far as just the mission every day, all day, is just teaching that, man. And hopefully I can impact as many people's lives as God allows me. And like I said, I appreciate you having me on here, man. This was a dope thing, man, just to chop it up with you. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, much love, bro.
Man, that's awesome, man. Yo, Rich, I'll be talking to you again. I'm actually honored to know this man because he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire for
Facts.
y'all sleeping. He's a billionaire, and I get to say I had a billionaire on my podcast, Richard Pryor. Prior to him being the billionaire, I had him on my podcast, a
Yeah.
valuable person, because valuable people attract people of value. Peace.